Welcome to icttrends.com, and I'm Suresh Khanal. Throughout this video series, we were solving the practical questions from the model sets, and in my previous video, I've already solved the question about Microsoft Word, the question number A, and Microsoft Excel question number B. And today in this video, I will be solving the question number C, that's from the database, that's MS Access. Let's see the question once. The first question asks you to create two tables, students and fees table, and save your database as the database underscore your symbol number. The name of your database should be database underscore symbol number, and it will contain two tables, students and fees. Similarly, the second question, set student ID field of fees table so that it will display drop-down box with student's name when entering data. You will configure the fees table in such a way that when somebody is entering data in this table, he'll get a drop-down list for the field student ID. So for this you will use Lookup wizard. And the third question, create a query to display fees date, student name, fees month, and fees amount. So here we will create a query with a mixed fields, some fields from the students table and some fields from the fees table. I will show you how to solve this question in Access 2010. If you are using Access 2003, please find another video for that purpose. Let me start Microsoft Access. So when you start Access, you're presented with this screen where file menu is already pulled down, and you are ready to enter the file name or for the database or the database name. The blank database is selected already from among the available templates. In case of Microsoft Word and Excel, where you are given with a blank database or a blank book, and you can start working with it directly. After working for some time, then when you think you need to save your file now, you can save the file with a name. But in case of Microsoft Access databases, first of all you need to create a database and you need to name your database, save it somewhere, and only after that the database window will open, where inside you can start creating the tables and other objects. Okay, let me start solving the question now. And our first question was to create a new database name it database underscore your symbol number. So my first database will be a blank database, and I will name this database as database underscore 985100032. This is my symbol number. So the question asked you to name your database as database underscore your symbol number. Accordingly, I have done it here. And this database file where you need to save, that's on your folder, and we had already created our folder on the desktop. So to change but here right now the location where your file will be saved is under C drive, users directory, user subdirectory, and documents subdirectory. This is not the location where we need to save our file, so we will change the location first by clicking here on the browse for a location button. So when you click on this button, a dialog box will prompt you and ask where you want to save the file. So this my folder is stored on desktop, so I'll click on the desktop, and inside this desktop there's my folder 985100032. This is my working folder, and here inside the name of my database will be database 985100032.accb. The extension of database files created with the Access 2010 are accdb, that means Access database. Click OK to select this file name and the path. You can see the update in the path location, the location of your file, as well as the file name. Now click on create. It will start your database. So you can see the screen changes into look at the title bar, database underscore 985100032. That's the name of the database. It's on the Access 2007 format. Microsoft Access is the name of the application. It's displayed on the title bar. You can see on the ribbons the table tool is provided with the fields tab fronted, and you can see table 1 displayed already. So this is something like you are presented with the document 1 when you start a new file in MS Word, or the book 1 when you start the Excel file. In case of Access databases, you are starting with the table 1. Now we can start with work with this table 1. What we need to do it here is, now we have created a database with a given name and on inside the given folder, but now we need to create the tables, and we are asked to create two tables. The first one students and the second one fees table. First of all, let me create the students table. So I will change the view of this table into the design view. To do that, I can right click on this tab and choose design from the menu, or I can directly click on the design button on the ribbon, or also you can open this list of the views and choose design view. So whatever method you do, you will be prompted to provide a name of the table. So save the table first. We are going to create the students table, so I type students here and click OK. Now the name of the table is changed into the students, and the view changes into design view. Here you will design your table. Our fields were student ID, STUDID, and the field type, it can be our number, no problem. And another field we are asked to create is student name. Look at this student ID field. On the question paper, it's underlined. In listing of fields, if any field is underlined, you must understand that this is a primary key. So first of all, before creating second field, let me make this field as primary field. Here student ID is already created primary field because it was the ID field by default. If it is not the primary field set, you can right click here and choose primary key to make that field primary. It's okay. Now let's create the second field. The name of second field should be stud name. So STUDNAME is stud name, and data type is not given in the question. That means you apply your own logic and select a suitable type of data. In case of student name, we are going to enter the textual data in that field. So the file, so the data type text is quite okay. And you can also select the field size and format, input mask, and a lot other. But because the question doesn't specify or doesn't indicate to any of these things, so I'm not going to waste time here. Now let's create the third field, and the question asked us to create the third field was student address. So let me go back to the Access and create here stud address. This field also is a text field because we are going to enter the string data inside this field. So student address, text field, third. That's fine. Now for the fourth field, we need to create student father, stud father, studfather, father, and the data type for this student father also will be text, because here we will be entering the name of his father, his or her father. So this way there are four fields in this students table, and STUDID is made primary key. That's all we need to do to create this student table. Let me close it. It'll ask you to save the design now because you have added some more fields in the students table. So click yes to save and close this table, students. Now we have created the first table, student. Now it's the turn of fees table, and fees table will contain fees ID, the primary key field, student ID, the foreign key from the student table, and fees month, fees amount, and fees date. So while creating this table, notice the second question also, because second question asks you to set the student ID field of fees table. That means inside fees table we have student ID field, and this field should be configured in such a way that it will display the drop down box with the student's name. Remember, here is the student's name, not the ID. When the student ID field is opened, with a drop down box, there should be student's name inside that drop down box while entering data. So we will create student ID field here now, and student table. So to create the student table, we will go to the create tab of database ribbon and choose the tables. Create table. This will open a table, and currently it is displaying in the datasheet view, but we need the design view to enter our field names. So let's go to the design view. The name of the table will be fees table, and the IDs will be fees ID auto number. This is primary key set already by default, and the second field we need to create is student ID, STUD ID, but the question says here this must be a lookup field. When user is entering data in this fees table, and if he arrives at the student ID field, he should be given a drop down box to open and choose the name from there. So to create that, we will open this data type box and choose lookup wizard. So this will start a wizard which helps you to configure this student ID in such a way that it will create some relationship with the student field, student table, and get the data from there. When you start lookup wizard, we have two options on the first step. The first one, I want the lookup field to get the values from another table or query. This is what suits our case, because we will be getting values from the students table. On the second option on the dialog box is I will type in the values that I want. That means if you want to provide a list of values in that drop down box and you want to type them here, you can choose second option. But in my case, my list should be there inside the students table, so the first option is okay. Click next, and on the second step of this wizard, it's asking us which table or query should provide the values for your lookup field. So the values, where they will come from, obviously it's from the students table. In the students table there is student ID and student name. We need that student name for our field, in this field, so we will choose the table student. The views here can be tables or queries or both. Let's create next. And here in this step of the wizard, it asks us which fields of students contain the values you can include in your lookup field. The fields you select become the columns in your lookup field. So let me choose the primary key student ID and student name, the field we require to provide the list of names. So now click next, and on this step we are asked to specify the sorting order of those names. So sort ascending by student ID or by name. Name, it will be easier to find if it is sorted in that order when entering data. So the field student name and in the ascending order. Now click next. So here, how wide would you like the columns in your lookup field? So you can put your mouse pointer here and click and drag to increase and decrease the width of the lookup field. And here's the one checkbox. If you disable it, if you turn off the mark in the checkbox, the student ID also will be used, but these primary keys we are not going to enter, but they will rather be produced automatically from the auto number. So it's better, let's hide them. We will display only the list of names inside that drop down box. We will not display the IDs. Now click next to go to the next step. So this is the final step. What label would you like for your lookup field? So what will be the label of this drop down box? So there will be a drop down box including the names of students from the student table, and there will be a label to identify this drop down box, and the name of that label we will enter here. Apart from specifying the name, we have also option to enable data integrity, and if you enable data integrity, you can choose whether you want to enforce the cascade delete option, or you want to enforce the restrict delete option. And similarly, there's another option also, allow multiple values. So these things we don't need to do anything for our current purpose, and just click on finish. After you run the lookup wizard, you have made some configuration changes, and it's better you save the file. Access will ask you to save the file first. Click on yes to save it. When you configure any field with Lookup wizard, you can see what the changes it has made on the Lookup tab in the properties panel. Look at here, the control display will be combo box, that means the drop-down box, and the row source is from the table query. Obviously it's from the table we have selected, and the source is select students.id and students.studentname. So those two fields from students table. From students table, two fields, student ID and student name, are selected, and they are ordered by student name. That means they are sorted ascending by student's name. And bound column 1, column count 2, etc., etc. So these data are filled in here automatically by the lookup wizard. Okay, this was how we can create the lookup fields, and we were asked to create student ID for the student ID field that the question number 2 of the C database, question number 2 asked us. Set student ID field a fees table so that it will display the drop down box with the student's name when entering data. So this question we have completed while creating the fees table. Now our third field required for this fees table is fees month, fees amount, and fees date. So fees month will be obviously text, because we are going to enter there January, February, March, April, May, June. So what will be the width required for this type of field? I guess 15 characters is sufficient enough to write any month. Fees month, and another field we need is the fees amount. And what data type should be for the fees amount? Obviously it should be currency. You open the list and choose currency, then press tab and tab again. Finally, we still need to create another one field, fees date. Let me type this, fees date. And what should be the data type for this field? Yes, obviously, very clearly, it must be the data and time. This way, you create the table fees, and let's save this field and close it. Now, our question number 1 and question number 2 is complete. Click on close button. It will ask for the fees. Save the design of the table fees. Click it yes. So now look on the left panel here. We have got fees table and students table. Two tables are created. So question number 1 done, and question number 2 also done. Now we are left with the final third question. Question number 3 is create a query to display fees date, student name, fees month, and fees amount. So we are asked to create a query based on those two tables. To create a query, you will go to the create tab on the ribbon, and for the queries we have got query design and query wizard. Let me use the query design to create this new query. When you click on query design, it will open the query window and a dialog box show table. This show table dialog box will contain all the tables you have created in your database and all the queries that are there in your database, and in case of both, it will display the tables and queries both. So in my case, I need to add fees table in my query because there are some fields from this fees required on the query. Similarly, there are some fields from the students also. Select this one as well and click it close. Did you notice the relationship there created automatically? This relationship was created when you made that student ID field in the fees table. When you were creating the fees table, you created student ID, and on student ID you made the name of students to come inside there as a drop-down box. So while doing that, the relationship is created automatically. That's good for us. Let's work. Now let me go back to the question once and create a query to display fees date, student name, fees month. So let me pull this fees date, bring it down to my fields row in the query builder window, and fees date came here. Another field I need is student name. Drag this student name from the student table and put it there in the fields row on the next column. So student name from students will be pulled. Another field I need is fees month. Get the fees month from the fees table, drag it down to the fees to the query panel, query building panel, and finally I need fees AMT. This fees amount also should be included. So this way we will be using the students table and fees table to create our query. So once you drag the fields and drop them on the fields row on different columns, this way you created the query. Now what you can do, close it, and Access will ask you to save the query design. Yes, and give the name. Does the question provides any name to give it for the query? Create a query to display? No, there's the question doesn't specify any particular name, so you can give it your own name, like QUERY query fees information. So query is fees info, and that is the name I gave for this query. Now click it OK. So look on the left panel now. There are two tables and one query. This is all what the question asked you to do for your exam, but to make you more clearer, let me enter some data into these tables and let's see what the query returns. I'll open the students table and press tab. The student ID will be filled automatically, that is the auto number field. Student name Kamal Baral, and student address is Pokna Joel, Kathmandu. Student's father is Krishna Prasad Baral, and press tab. You go on typing and keep on pressing tab to jump to the next field after you complete typing in one field. So one record is completed, the cursor automatically came to the next row to enter the next record. Let me press tab once, and here Biplav Bhurtel, and he is from Satdabato, Lalitpur. His father's name is Bipin Bhurtel. Press tab, it will automatically come to the third row to enter the third record. Now the next is Milan Mokhtan. He is from Jharua Rasi, Kathmandu, and his father's name is Madan Mokhtan. This way you can go on entering the values entering the records in your students table. Let me close the students table. I've got 3 records there already. Let me enter the fees now here. So fees ID is auto number field, primary key. It will be filled automatically. When you came to this student ID by pressing tab, now notice the drop down box here is placed automatically. If you click the drop down box, you will see all the names that you typed in the student table. This is what we had configured this field to work in this way. Here you can just choose Kamal Baral, press tab. Fees for the month January, and fees amount, let it be 2000, and fees date is 2012 slash February 2012, and February 02 13th. On that date the fees was entered. Similarly, now here when you go to the student ID, the drop down list is there. To enter values into the drop down list, you can hold Alt and press down arrow to open this list if you are working from keyboard, and choose what name you require here. Press enter. That name will be selected, and he is paying for the month of February, and he will be paying also 2000 rupees, and he paid it on the 2012 02 28th. Similarly, on the third, again, this, if you start typing in this field, in the where it's displaying the drop down list, it will autofill this field will be automatically filled. If it is there inside the drop down list, you can just press enter to go to the next one, accepting whatever it is displaying there. So Kamal Baral again paid fees for February, and he paid it 2000 rupees on the 2012/March 5th. This way you can go on entering the values in the fees table also. For now, let me just stop it here. Let me close it, and let's see what the query displays now. In the query window, the fees date, that was the first field we put in the query designing window, and student name, that was the second field we entered there, and fees month is the January, February fees amount. So this is the output of the query. Well, that was the solution for this question number C from MS Access database. I hope you can solve this question easily now. If you have any question and want me to solve that question for you, you can post your questions in the ICT Trends forum. Go to the address bar on your browser, type there www.icttrends.com/forum forum. When you type this icttrends.com/forum, it will automatically take you to the prepare.icttrends.com, and inside that user question forums. So look at the address bar, it's a bit longer, but for your convenience you can just type icttrends.com/forum. When you come here, come to the forum, you can select on of which category you want to ask question. If your question is about operating systems, you can drop it here: word processing, spreadsheet, PowerPoint presentation, or the databases or web page designing. Or if you have any comments, complaints, suggestions, etc., drop them there. Open the forum for you to discuss about anything that is not directly related to the computer operator preparation. Or you can post the vacancy information if you know any, and you can find some information there if other friends or I posted there personally. And you can check the message from admin this board to get the information, the latest news about an important topic that concerns you. When you land onto this forum space, you can select the category there, and inside this forum you will choose the new topic for you to type your question. Click on new topic and enter your title and your real question. So what about you want to ask, type it here and type your question here. So after I get your questions, if it is suitable and useful for many of the members of ICT Trends, I will be solving your question. I'll write the solution here, or I'll create a video and show you how to do it. Well, that's all for today's session, and thank you for listening.